We are live. How about that, boys and girls, huh? We messed that one up good. We got reverb. I clicked transition on accident. So I guess we're doing it live. Let's go. Let's go. What's up, Nil? All right, hold on. Let me push buttons here. Man, it's like I'm new at this all of a sudden. You know, you hit one button, you make one mistake, and next thing you know, everything's crazy. Let's see what we got. Who we got in the chat tonight, boys and girls? Oh man, I'm not even in my right spot. This is out of control. Got the commercial. Goodness, dude, nuts. All right, let's see. We got Matty Gonzalez was first, followed by I think it was Mark, and then I think it was somebody. I have no idea. Nil's in here. Rocky, what's up, y'all? What are you guys doing? Hearts in the chat. Oh, that's so cool. You guys are the best. That is right, Nil. We did have some fun. What's going on, Hank Snow Outdoors? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to a live stream. It's a little bit different than probably something you've ever seen if you're new to the channel. If you haven't caught any of the previous episodes, you might want to take yourself a second, venture back into the El Catalogo, and get ready for the next thing you guys are gonna see. We're gonna do this again. I think we're gonna do this for a second, you guys. Hold on. Let's do this. There we go. That's it. All right. Now, let me fix this thing. Hold on. I was doing something, and then I hit transition. So I got to do it again. This is where it gets tough. Okay. Stop with all the chaos. Whatever you're doing, stop. I'm talking to myself. That's it. Oh my goodness. I finally got back on my own screen. How excited am I? Did you guys see today's episode of Y'all Want to Go Fishing? Did anybody happen to see today's episode of Y'all Want to Go Fishing? Hold on, we're going to do it. We're going to do it together. Let's do this. Let's do a little episode of Y'all Want to Go Fishing. It happens. All right, let's go back here. Let's see if we can move back to this time. Let me get the release cam out and stuff like that, because I think that'll be a lot more fun. Let's get the release cam. That's not, we're too far. I think. No, we were singing Dust in the Wind. It wasn't Dumb Luck. All right, hold on. Goodness, I should already have this preloaded. Can't edit that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know where it was. Oh, we're doing it all live. I mean, they weren't giants or nothing, but I mean, if today was that kind of. I don't even know where it is. You told me that little fish just chased me up. He did too. We had fun. Hold on. In that area over yonder. This is where I'm starting to point it out. I know you guys are seeing this. Starting to point out where I'm headed and what I'm thinking about. Little ways offshore now. And this is what we're going to talk about tonight, guys. We're going to talk about position. I don't know I've never seen anybody go out and do what I'm doing. Not live. Not live. Nope. Like I said, one day, man, the channel's going to take off. People will come hang out. There'll be 25, 3,500. Okay, do we got something bigger? Do we got something? Oh, yeah, we do. Uh-oh. Oh, we might have to let... Oh, yeah, we got something bigger here, guys. Oh, yeah. Hey, guys. Hey, this is going to be sweet. Let's not break it off, Jason. Let's not break it off. Let's Signal's starting to fade. No net. Hashtag no net. Oh. Don't go near that trolling motor. Oh, she's big, boys. Oh, she's big. We're going to have to move the trolling motor. We might have to take trolling motor out of the water. It's choppy because we were live. Come on, I know you're in there. Oh, she's in there. Watch this. Hashtag no net. What in the world is that, boys? What in the world is that? Look at that monster bass, dude. Oh my God, yes. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Hey, he throws the inclusive bait. It's gay. I don't catch no fish. Yeah, it does. Oh, baby. You guys, that is... What? Let's box it. Let's put it in a live well for a minute. Goodness. Oh, goodness gracious. I gotta do little tweaks all
so
live.
Funny, you guys. Oh my God, that's so funny. What did I tell you? I said, well, I'm gonna sit over here, I'm gonna poke around these sticks a couple times. Isn't that what I said? I'm gonna poke around these sticks a couple times.
Boom. That's exactly what we did today, guys. We went and poked around a couple of sticks. I thought that was pretty sweet for those of you guys that didn't see that. That's the new episode of Y'all Want to Go Fishing. Yeah, that was awesome. So jealous. Nice fishy. Aw, man. Well, I saw an important part. Yeah, Brandy, you walked in right at a fish. Maddie was in and out. Yeah, hey, Brandy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so that was a good time. We hit that. Cheers, Kristen J. What was the weight? Right at 5 pounds, Jeff. Right at 5 pounds. That was the best part about it. It was a beast. It looked good. It looked real good on camera, man. Unfortunately, doing it live, you're going to be faced with little things like camera glitch. You know, it's not really a camera glitch. It was a signal thing. You know what I mean? You couldn't really do much about that. I was live. You know, I didn't have the other cameras rolling. As a matter of fact, there was a moment just before that where we almost called it because it was raining. Like, it got ready to rain. Like, we started feeling the sprinkles. And then I reminded these guys that I set the hook so hard that sometimes the rain just takes a while to come back down from the water that was on the line when I set the hook. I don't know if it was quite 8 pounds, Jeff. It was guaranteed 2. It felt like a 7 on the way in. You understand what I'm saying? It felt like a high 7, mid to high 7. But, buddy, when I put that Jesus on it, you know what I'm saying? It might not look violent, but if you grab a hold of that line and, you know, just hold that hook, let me set it. I guarantee it's going to hurt. Yeah, so we had a really good time today, guys. It was pretty cool. I enjoyed myself. I hope some of you guys go back and check that out. I think that's going to be episode 11. I'm not quite sure what episode number we're on the Y'all Want to Go Fishing, but I'll tell you what, we did a lot of work today, guys. We did a lot of work today, and one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight, right after I get done setting this thing up, I got to turn this other device on real quick. One of the things we're going to talk about tonight is just that. What's a pattern? You know what I mean? What's a pattern? Tonight, today in the live fish, you guys got to, those of you that hung out, I was calling out different depths. I was calling out different water temperatures all throughout where we were traveling today. We got out in like 1 to 3 foot swells. It was bad. It was bad. I had the trolling motor at 80%, just to stay where we were at. We weren't making any progress. We were just basically staying where we were at. So we retreated to the opposite side of the lake, which is called the leeward. Windward is where the wind pushes to, and leeward is to where the wind's coming from. And there's like a bunch of really big houses, and there's a pretty good sized hill there. So I knew if we could tuck in on the total opposite side of the lake and we could find some calm yet moving water, we were going to have a good time. And sure enough, man, we came around one corner and there was a boat there, and I told these guys, I said, we're gonna hang out here. And as soon as we hung out there and it started to, you know, I could start using my electronics, things got real interesting right after we shot around the corner. That is for sure. That is for sure. We watched a dude who was offshore started working some stuff, and then he rolled out. And as soon as he rolled out, I went right in. I didn't hesitate, and then we just started picking him apart. So that was a little bit of fun. It really made an exciting episode. I leave all the boring beginning stuff on those. I don't cut those things. I just leave them right where they're at. You know, if you want to skip through them, skip through them. But there's fish in there. There's fish in there in certain places. So it was exciting. I appreciate some of you guys hanging out, man. I'm glad you guys had a good time. In the morning, yeah, that's rough. That's all right, Maddie. It's a good episode, though. On a serious note, we had a good time. I know I did. I know I had a really good time. So, guys, give me one more second. I'm going to sit you guys, hold on. Goodness gracious. Oh, what's that? You noticed? My fishing gloves? No, those are cool. Yeah, those are the new Heathen Squad socks for sure, folks. I'll tell you, my fishing day couldn't get any better. I got my gloves and I got my socks. HeathenSquad.com.
What's up, everybody? Hopefully today we catch some giants. You know it's fishing, bro. You never know how it's gonna go. Undisclosed location unless he's already said it. But this place has been known to produce 8s, 9s, 11s. Yeah, I mean, dude, they're out here, so we'll see what happens.
And guess what, guys? I wore my lucky fishing socks.
Socks on too, buddy. HeathenSquad.com. Get yourself some. It makes you fish better. I don't know what the science is behind it, but if you wear these socks, these HeathenSquad.com socks, you could probably catch yourself a couple tanks. It's in the science. Trust the science, right?
At least a 30% increase in your average, but that's not typical, but it happens. All right, we're back. Sorry, guys. I'm just getting this started here, so give me 1 second. All right, got that up and running. I got a couple of things up and running here. I hope. We've been having some interesting... That's it. All right, hold on, guys. Hold on. Let's turn on some music because we're gonna get into this together. It's just taking a second to load. We had some computer things go on, and it's a little interesting right now, but we're gonna be all right. Right now, we're connecting. Boom. Boom. Nice. Nice. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me do this. Make that small because I don't... Oh, wait. I do need it. Hold on. I'm going to put this up here. I'm going to put this up here. All right. All right. Oh, what in the world now? That's weird. Okay, that's crazy. Don't want that to happen again. I don't know what to do here, guys. I got a little bit of a glitch that's like costing me here. So we're gonna close that. We're gonna play with that stuff later. You understand what I'm saying? We're gonna do something a little bit different. Trying to get this thing to connect. Sorry, guys. I'm having a little bit of an issue. I don't know what's going on, but we'll close it out. We'll try it again another time. So, yeah, guys, what I'm getting at is sometimes it's just you're out there beating the environment. You're out there really beating the lake. I mean, nobody wanted to fish in that environment today, and I mean nobody, to include myself. There were times when I was like, you know, I really picked the wrong lake, man, and I'm going to come out here and I'm going to struggle. I'm going to struggle all day. Yeah. See, Jeremy was there. Jeremy, did you stay for the whole live, man? If you stayed for the whole live, buddy, or did you catch the end? Oh, dude, you got to watch the end of that video. Probably the last, like, 25 minutes is real good. I would say that. The last 25 or 30 minutes definitely made for a really good video. Yeah. Oh, Jeremy, you don't want to miss that, bud. You're going to want to go back in just a little bit back in time and check that out, man, because that was absolutely fire. Absolutely fire. Welcome to the channel, by the way. I'm glad you got a chance to come out on a live, man. Sorry, I'm still wearing my fishing shirt. As you guys can see, I still got the Seagar on. I'm like dirty still. I didn't have time to do it. Oh, hearts in the chat. You will spend hours fixing that. Yeah. Oh, what, the computer? Oh, dude, you don't even want to get me started. You guys have no idea. You guys want to hear a story? You guys want to hear what I've been doing? We're going to do it. Here, hold on. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let me give you guys, let's do story time. Story time. All right, so seriously, let me tell you guys this crazy, crazy nonsense. So I installed another SSD in my computer, and when I went to pull up my source files for OBS and everything, none of my information, file destination sources, were even correct. It was a total nightmare. This is T-minus like, oh, I don't know, 25 minutes before going live, right? I'm searching every folder in every file in my brand new SSD because I transferred everything over. Nightmare. Never thought I should have checked on this before I even got started today, but I did. Thank goodness for Chef Boyardee, right? So there's the whole setup time. Oh, you guys have no idea. This was rough, man. This was not good times today, but we got the live launched, and then I hit transition when I was checking screens. That was pretty epic. That was pretty funny. I mean, who else is going to do it? Your boy, that's who. Yay. Yeah, so nightmare scenario today, guys. Just so everybody's clear. Did not have a good time. But what we did do, and this is where it gets interesting, guys. What we did do is we learned a lot about positioning on the lake. We really did. When things got really tough, when things got really nuts, we went through a pattern. Our pattern today was, as you guys remember, we started off with the inclusive bait, which meant bottom contact fish. And then we went into the chatterbait, which meant we had mid, top, or bottom, but we were searching, do more of a search bait style. We had the one bite on that one by the dock. I got in the wrong position to even think about catching that fish. I don't know what I was thinking. It was really dumb, and I ended up losing that fish. And then we went into the big swim baits. We tried that because when I caught something just about similar size to that swim bait, I would think there would be something in there eating it. Don't be so hard on yourself. Everyone makes mistakes. That's why pencils have erasers and Susie. That's terrible, Neil. I almost said it, but that's pretty funny. Yeah, no, like I said, I'm not down on myself by no means. I was just really, I'm really starting to figure stuff out. I come out with like a certain game plan. So let me tell you a little bit about how it worked out today for those of you that were there and those of you that weren't. But it led to what tonight's topic of discussion is with the pattern. I didn't give up on it. I at one point switched to a white fluke 4-inch slow fall sink Z-Man streaks to no avail. Found a lot of gar. I found a lot of gar that had nothing to do with what we had going on. You know, as far as the whole areas we were fishing, that was a bad mistake. I wasted probably 30, 35 minutes doing that. But then I noticed that when we got to a certain side of the lake, we had almost no wind. Minimal. I'm talking 3 to 5 miles an hour max. So we were able to find fish on the electronics again. First blind casting, and then when we really got into those areas and started utilizing the electronics, the one thing that we found out is that the vegetation was so thick that sometimes it wasn't penetrable. It really wasn't. So we ended up in a lot of really thick drilla and then went right to hopping the inclusive bait because we started finding those concentric circles again. Okay, those concentric circles on the ground. Well, looking down, you can see them. They're at the base. We got into that one area that had the clear beds. Hearts in the chat. We got into the one area that had the clear beds. You guys couldn't see them. I could because of the watercolor. And I didn't need my glasses. That was what was so cool about it. And then that led to working 2 or 3, 3 fish there, I think. 2 fish or 3 fish there. And then we skipped around to the next point. And then we went to the next pocket. So sometimes, guys, just fishing those, not always necessarily the point, you know, the area where the land comes out like this. Well, comes out like this. Sometimes it's that draw where the land comes in like that, you know, and then you fishing inside that draw area. Perfect. Nailing it. You know what I mean? That sometimes makes a big difference. We started a pattern today of fishing the 1 to 3. That was it. That was it. We pulled off into the 9 and the bigger fish were out just like we thought they were going to be. That's another thing we found today. So again, guys, working what you know, take where you're at. Like, let's look at it right now. I talked about this today in the live stream that we had. One of the things that I discussed was the majority of fish are going to be in. I need to know more about this bumble wasp. You saw that. Yeah. I got attacked by a bumble wasp. I can't explain it. This thing came out of nowhere. I was in the middle of a retreat. Oh, it was bad. It was bad. I was swinging. I smacked myself in the head. I think it went down my shirt, to be honest with you, because I felt it in the truck when I sat back in the truck. I don't know what it was. I couldn't tell. It was either some kind of giant bee or possibly one of those deadly African bees. I think I might be immune to those, because I think whatever it was, it got me though. Whatever it was got me in the back, because I had a rough ride home now. I'm not going to lie to y'all. It wasn't as much fun as you think it would be when that Bumble F thing got me in the back. I lost it. I'm always, I'm good about that. I'm trying, man. I'm not trying to be so, rough in the live. But, hold on, you guys. I got to start doing my job. That's the bottom line. That's it. Okay, now you can see the Beards and Bass sign, dude. It's got this blur background thing that's automatic. I have it set for automatic. I have to remember to take that off, because now you guys can see my sign and it just doesn't look like a big old cluster of lights back there. That's embarrassing. So it wasn't a bee, no, this is what I'm saying. This thing was like some kind of African hornet. This was weird, dude. This thing came out of nowhere. We made eye contact. And when I say we made eye contact, like we made eye contact, I was like, and he did the same thing. And let me tell you guys, this thing came right at me, smacked me right in the face. What's up, Jeff? Smacked me right in the face, went into my shirt, my hoodie. Oh my goodness, except honeybees. Yeah, because they're not here anymore. But yeah, so I had my hoodie on like this. And if you guys, listen, don't make fun of my hat. That live started off epic. I don't know how much of the beginning's in there, but I remember faintly, vaguely losing my hat. But yeah, it was gusty. It was nasty today, boys and girls. But back to the thing, to the plan. Trust the plan. Let me get a drink. So what we figured out was, I kept calling out temperatures, I kept calling out depths, I kept calling out vegetation. And what we did is we eventually put together, it was a good hat. It covers me totally. And I'm totally incognito. You can't see my eyes. You have no idea who I am. I kind of look like a white Raiden. If any of you guys are big fans of the Mortal Kombat, I kind of look like Raiden in that hat. That's what I call it. I call it my Raiden. My son laughs. And we made a joke one day. And we watch a lot of like historically accurate international films, based on events and stuff like that. And he knows what a Ronin is. You know what I mean? Like a Ronin is a paid assassin in the Japanese samurai time. They couldn't be under a crown because they'd committed crimes, but one thing they were good at was doing bad things when needed. And my son, every time I wear that hat, he's like, "You don't have the sword on you, do you, Dad?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Well, we don't need you going full Ronin." I just laugh. I'm like, that kid's so great. Speaking of my great kid, you guys ready for this? Isn't that technically Beard in yellow face? That's pretty funny. You guys, look what awesome kid did. You ready for this? Look at the blue pearl. It even says blue pearl. You see my screen? Look at this. Look at this kid. He drew the blue pearl. There's an alligator, that bass. You see that bass coming out of the water right there, shaking its head? I mean, are you kidding me? He's out there. He's got little holes in trees and stuff. He's got the vegetation. He's got the stumps. I mean, this kid's a legend, dude. An absolute legend. What a fantastic kid. I'm a lucky guy. I really am, man. Pretty neat. Pretty neat stuff, you guys. So, yeah, there's that. So that's what we've been doing, man. Just a whole lot of stuff. So guys, when you're out there, when you're looking at the lake and you've come out with this big game plan and you think you know what's going on, sometimes you do. You know what I mean? You if you're set up correctly and like we're in the post spawn right now, we talked about that earlier during the live. That means fish are going to be real skittish. It means, especially with the cold streak that we just hit, they're going to end up real lethargic. So things kind of slowed down, and getting them to bite was next to impossible. Next to impossible. We tried a few different methods to no avail for the first, I don't know, man, about an hour. We should have made that jump initially. I think that would have been a better idea. We should have made that jump initially across the lake, but we didn't. We didn't. Next time we will, though. Next time when we see these kinds of conditions, we're going to know, and I think some of you guys will too. You're going to know that what I need to do is just get off this side of the lake. You know what I mean? I need to be on the opposite side, what's called the leeward side, and we can just sit behind that and let that block as much as we can, and then determine how far off the shore the fish are. Now, today we discussed another topic, which was positioning. And positioning is very, very, very important. Okay. When I say positioning, I'm talking about your boat in relation to the shore or the structure that you're fishing. Now, personally, I like to attack from as far as I can. I know guys that like to get right in there, man, and they'll just pitch and flip. Pitch and flip, pitch and flip. They're right in the structure. There's no stopping them. I tend to, stay off the structure, get a full cast into the structure, and then work my way back, because that helps me determine if I don't hit anything at the structure, I'm just increasing my chances as I bring that bait back to the boat to finding if the fish are just pulled off that area. So if I don't find anything on those first couple of casts as I go in, I'm either A, going to move on, or B, I'm going to approach it a little bit closer. And then I'm going to slow down my presentation as far as whatever I might be using. If I'm using, again, I come in with a lot of Ned rigs. I do like worm fishing. I don't mind it. But again, the Ned rig is become a primary staple for me. And when you're looking at fish like we saw today, I found that school that I ended up in where I pulled the 5-pounder. We pulled back to back out of there. And then like 3 casts later, the 5-pounder came up. You know what I mean? So to give you an idea, we talked about that. I told you we found concentric circles, meaning beds. Those beds were sitting off in 5 to 7, 1 to 3 feet of water were the beds. We sat off in 5 to 7 foot. We found the big girl. She was in right close to maybe 4.5, 5 feet is where she was. Not on the bed, not near the fish. She was off in a deeper area of the water, and that made the difference. We ran into a lot of dinks. The dinks didn't help us at all today. We caught the one dink that was really, truly a dink. The other ones were just fish. They were average size for what they should be doing at this time of the year. So that's another important thing to remember, guys. What are your fish doing? Because if you don't have a clue what the fish are doing, you're going to have a hard time figuring out where to find them. That's the truth. Today we had, like I said, we came in Central Florida to another cool trend, which was probably the last, I think. I'm going to say if we do get another one, it's going to get real interesting. But any of those big late spawn females, that was a big late spawn female. They're going to be still posted up once we found the little males. And that's what a lot of you guys don't realize, is that I'm not really dink hunting when it comes to bed season. I'm kind of male hunting. So if I find me some males and some of the males get a little bit bigger, like the one male that was 2.5 pounds, I'm going to know there's a 5, 6, 7 pound female somewhere within the vicinity of that big male, because he's buck. You know what I'm saying? He's got rain. He had no marks on him. He was ready to do this. Yeah. He was ready. There's no males challenging him. Any big female that's looking for a big male is going to settle right in with him. And we found the 5-pounder. That's how we ended up finding that fish. And that's why I was telling you guys in the live video, I said, I don't want to tell you there's a reason I caught that fish, and I don't want to tell you what that reason is, but the reality of it is it was bound to happen just given the circumstance. So lucky me, it happened. It happened. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Something crazy just happened. Weirdness. I don't know. So yeah, that's what we did today, guys. We had a good time though, for those of you that were hanging out with me. For those of you that didn't, that's okay too. Don't forget, every Tuesday we do these little live fishing things where we go to a different Central Florida lake and we try to make it happen. We know nothing about the lake. We're coming in blind, man. We did a little bit of research on the Tortlet. When you take a little time in the bathroom, sometimes, I get in there and start looking at lakes. You know what I mean? Some people are into different material when they're in there. I'm not. You know, you're not going to see me on social media. You might catch me watching a YouTube how-to, or you might catch me in my personal time. Research. I stare at that thing. You have no idea. I plan my next trip without going on my next trip. And then you get out there, and all that stuff is straight out the window. Every bit of that. Every bit of your plan, what you thought was the best idea you ever had, ends up not being the best idea you ever had. And the reason for that is, it's because you weren't paying attention. Everything changed. The wind changed. Wind direction changed. And you guys, you'll be surprised. It's hit or miss. You know, I can tell you right now, people ask me why I bring like 9 rods. Well, there's a reason I bring 9 rods. I bring 9 rods because each one of them is a different situation that I might find myself in. I don't have to retie when I bring 9 rods. I don't have to. I went as far as trying to swim bait today with a big old 2-leg goat trailer on the back, like I was pulling some kind of crawfish thing through the weeds. I went far today. We went fluke. We went everything but 2.8 Kitech. And that's just because I didn't feel like pulling it through all that grass. That would have been absolutely ridiculous. But we went even that far for those of you that were with me today. Well, we didn't. We kept 3 in the rod gloves. I count those. I look over. You guys don't see what I'm doing in there, but I'm counting. I just noticed I didn't turn on the YouTube play button. Like, dude, I'm like the worst. Not good times, you guys. I'm doing terrible tonight. I'm clicking buttons I'm not supposed to click. Everything looks crazy. I don't know. Hold on. Let me check 2 things real quick. All right. Yeah, so we had fun. For those of you that were there, we had a good time. But again, back to what we were talking about. You got to make sure, guys, when you do go out without a plan, it's okay too. You know, like sometimes it's just about, that's how you find it. You know what I'm saying? You just put the old lick thumb up and once in a while you get lucky. Sometimes. Hearts in the chat. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you're just out there riding that struggle bus. And I made that call early in the trip today too. I even called. I said, all aboard. We're on the struggle bus. It's official. You know what I'm saying? We are on the struggle bus. We had one circumstance today where, I mean, the size of the water had me thinking this might not be the trip for us. You know, I was being realistic. We got into some pretty good sized water. It was some good sized swells. I slowed down. I even said to you guys, I'm like, man, I don't think it's the best idea to roll out in this. I think that maybe, you know, head into a headwind like this, it's best just to get across the lake. You know, I almost put on a life vest. Things got real. Things got real, man. And a lot of people would have given up on today or wouldn't even have thought to fish in the first place. But we went at it. There's a very historic day in history for those of you that were wondering. Take a look at today in history. The Apollo 13 mission. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. Pamela Anderson and Kid Rock got engaged today. Things got real. Like, that's probably where the high points of that. The first Apple computer was made, not by Bill Gates. Just so we're clear. A lot of cool stuff happened today. We got to do like a Today in History segment. I think you guys would like that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Speaking of the Apollo, the reason that I mentioned that, guys, is because the same technology that was used in the Apollo 11 mission, I mean, we know how that goes, is the same one they used to make my Black Max, the XR2. 2-stroke. It's the same motor. It's all the same. It's aluminum, space age. You guys have no idea. Do it. It would be fun. Yeah, so again, Today in History. That's a little bit for you guys. Just a little bit of the knowledge there. You guys got any questions about today's adventure, man? I didn't get a chance to film it. I was gonna, but buddy, that rain. I don't know, man. We took a lot of water today. We did take. Matter of fact, when I get done with this live, I gotta make sure I open those cameras up and just let them air dry with no power on for about 2 days, because there was water in things that shouldn't have got water in them. I can tell you that right now. Space. No, Jeremy, I didn't throw a frog. Not a single one, buddy. It went back into the pattern again, man. Once I replayed the pattern, I realized that I was just sitting off on the wrong part of the water. I made the adjustment on the depth of water that I was sitting in. I was too close on the beds. I was too close in on the reeds. I needed to come off about 25, 30 yards off the shoreline, man, and it was on. Went right back to the inclusive bait, and everything worked on. Everything worked right after that. Nil says set the electronics and some rice. Yeah, no. Everything's good, dude. No, I didn't have any issues. No. It's a preventative maintenance thing. I think I'm totally fine. I don't think I took that much water on. But, excuse me, I have the GoPro insurance. So I'm good. I'm good.
Oh my God! Oh my
£10 joyful smashing it with a $10 if think I'm a catch. You should see my old lady. She's a beauty. Nice catch today. See you next time.
10-pound bass crushing it again. Live bait from the bank. Oh, yeah, Robert, you're not kidding, man. You're not kidding, live bait. Cheers, 10-pound bass. I got to put that word. Okay, so check this out. Stream Elements has a word bank of things you can't say, and bass is one of them. I don't know why, but that's why it says kitten. So it replaces a word that it thinks might be bad with a word that's happy or joyful, or in this case, pet related. Kitten. I think it's pretty funny. Cheers. Again, 10-pounder. You'll see. Funny. Here we go. Back to story time. Let's get some music for a second. All right. So I'm getting off the water. I end the live. As soon as I end the live, I get a phone call. How'd you do? It's pretty windy to be out there fishing, ain't it, buddy? I said, yeah, I did pretty good. I think I had a great day. I had a blast. Once I made that change, once I made that transition, it was a fire day. I had an epic. He's like, what do you mean, how epic? I was like, well, I had a 5-pounder. He's like, oh, okay, phew. I was just hoping you weren't going to tell me you crushed double digits. I'm like, dude, if I'd have crushed double digits on a day like today, I would never fish on a good day again. I'd wait for the worst barometer. Everything would be absolutely the worst day ever, and I would fish. 100% said I would fish. There's no doubt in my mind, man. Because if that was the point, where we were at, man, where I could pull that kind of stuff off, where I could go out on the most extremely bad day and bang on a big, that means I've got something figured out. I don't have that figured out yet. Offshore game's coming in, though. Pay close attention to some of the stuff that I talk about in the offshore game. We're going to have an episode where we talk about the offshore game, as a matter of fact. But we've got to have a good live offshore, and today was not that day. My plan was to be offshore all day today, though. Just to give you guys an idea, we were going to have an offshore day today. We were going to talk about offshore, but we actually ended up talking about positioning. And I think if you do pay attention to today's live and then listening to me explain a little bit about what we actually did in reference to our distances and stuff, how we ended up too close and we were spooking the fish, and then once we pulled off and did the old circle back, we ended up right back on the fish again. Right back on the fish, and then we retreated to school. We had we followed a few schools around. I don't want to really bore you guys with just staring at that screen, which is a lot of what I do. But once I saw those fish, they no longer had shadow, which meant they were no longer higher in the water column. They had settled back down to the deeper parts of the water. I knew right off the inclusive bait was going to be murder. And that was the most important thing, was just figuring that out, man. Chasing those fish around, finding them schools and moving into them and figuring out what they're doing, and then working through your pattern of baits, see what's triggering. I mean, we talked about triggering all day, and come to find out it was just the dead Ned. You know what I mean? The inclusive bait sticking up in the water like this. That was all it was doing. And every once in a while it'd go maybe 2 to 4 inches. Tap, tap. And the fish were like, oh, I'm eating that. You know what I'm saying? I'm eating that. I think that's my spot. That's exactly what I came out here for. I came out here to eat one of those. I was thinking, you know what? I want one of those. Good old turd. Yeah, you're not kidding, Jeremy. The inclusive bait will make it happen, man. A lot of people, they doubt it. I get it. It's a numbers thing for me though. Like when that's my wacky rig. You know, some people are like, I'll throw a wacky rig. I know a couple of guys that are like, man, I'll tell you what, if I need it, I'll just throw the wacky rig until I get my numbers. And I get it. I've done it. You know, I enjoyed that. Now I'm moving into something. If we can get offshore in the next couple of trips, that's going to be the next couple of trip, guys. We're going to have an offshore day. I watched a guy trying to fish offshore today in a nice wrap boat, and it was fancy. It was pretty. I ain't gonna lie to you, but Buddy struggled. Buddy struggled. Thank goodness. By the way, Kenny MacArthur. If you ever watch this channel, I know you watch it. I haven't seen you in a while on a live, but Kenny, you're right. 52-inch trolling motor, bud. No doubt. 52-inch, Kenny. In case it gets sporty. Today was the definition of sporty. We were stable as a platform. I was very pleased with the the power of the 24-volt system. I was very pleased with my ability to pilot that system and keep us relatively in a safe manner and orientation for the duration of a pretty good size swells. Weightless Cinco. Jeremy throws the weightless Cinco. Well, see, here's this, Jeremy, and this is what I was going to talk to you about earlier. There's a reason I'm not going with a weightless Cinco, and I'm going to tell you why. In that situation that we were at the start of the day when you were hanging out with us, the current, the waves, and the movement of the water would have really limited. You would have been playing to one place to hopefully have it end up over here. You know, one thing that I was noticing today was that the majority of the fish that were stacked up in the grass were stacked up in calmer water. Once the water started getting real heavy, those fish retreated deep. And in the event you were going to throw a Cinco or the Gary Yamamoto or whatever else that's weightless, you are going to find that you're going to have a lot of trouble keeping that thing anywhere relatively or remotely close to where those fish were. And I noticed they were very stationary on the optics. So I kind of bottom contact. You know, bottom equals bottom is kind of my go-to. Now, if we'd have had less wind, and I would have been able to work in the weeds, I absolutely would have pulled that fluke off, and I absolutely would have went with the 296 Green Pumpkin Gary Yamamoto Senko no weight, and I'd have just tossed it up in there in that grass line and floated it around and hooked it up. I agree 100%. I just think today's conditions really required some type of contact with the bottom. Like I said, the chatterbait wasn't. All the jigs would have ended up being about in the same issue. I used the swim jig. That was rough because the way that the grass set up and the three different kinds of vegetation we were dealing with. I think the frog might have been good in the second half of the day. Had I have stayed back in the reeds, there's a pretty good chance the frog would have been fantastic for me. But I think staying, hey, what's going on, Wes? Hey, Shawanda. A little too deep. Yeah, that's what I mean, Jeremy. I pulled off the fish. I noticed the fish had pulled off. So that was my cue. That was my cue to physically pull off the bank. And then instead of being within 10 to 12 yards of the bank, I pushed myself off between 8, 20, and 30 yards the majority of the time, and found those fish were actually stacked up in the deeper water, and then the females were stacked up in the deeper water, and then moving in on the males. Not very big transitions, so today I would have called that basically draws. They were inset areas that took less wind resistance or less wind coverage. So don't always look for those points, boys. Sometimes those pockets, those draws, and don't ever neglect those sides on the way in there. You know, you've got that point sticking out, and then you've got that draw. You know what I mean? Like, let's look at it like this. So this is that point, and then this is that draw, and then there's a secondary point here. Don't ever neglect these areas here or here when you're looking on those maps, or when you're looking at the contours, because sometimes fish will stack up on those. So boat positioning, again, I'm learning this now. This is very vital. It's important. It's very important. You can ruin a lot of your own fishing just based on where you're at fishing. You know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds crazy, but we watched it on the Harris Day the other day when we found that school on Harris. And the fish were traveling. I thought they were traveling with the water out, and they were actually traveling up the current line. And I floated right over top and dispersed an entire school of fish. Just scared the death out of them because the camouflage was no longer on the boat, if you guys remember the camouflage. I remember the camouflage, just so we know. I thought that was a lot of fun. It got a little nervous. I got a little nervous, but that was a good Harris trip too. So we've had two pretty successful trips last couple of weeks. It's been good. Frog would have definitely been dynamite. You know, Jeremy, we'll see. We'll see. I got one right here. Look, I told you. I had this one sitting right here. That's the one. Look at this thing's got scars. Can you see the battle marks? Look at that, dude. That's fish that have just ripped this thing apart, dude. So yeah, trust me, I'm about that frog life. But I wasn't doing it today. I'd had to have thrown like a ½ ounce all day. Yeah, it's beat up for sure, Wes. Yeah, no. Guys, I don't know if you realize it, but we put like 9 more fish on today. So that put us up to like 154 fish on that same bait. Since I pulled that bad boy out of the box. That's crazy from the feet up. Yeah, the feet are all chewed up. Well, I cut my feet short, and I also cut 1 foot longer than the other one, just by a little bit. And the reason I do that, man, is because, okay, let's just talk about this. We'll talk about it for 1 second. How many of y'all have ever seen a frog sit in the water? Raise your hand. I have. And one thing I've noticed is the frog never sits with its feet perfectly tucked together. There's always 1 foot dangling off kind of crazy, just holding them. The other one might be cocked up. They sometimes just sit kind of funky. You know what I mean? That's what they do. So when this thing just sits in the water, and I don't move it around a lot, it's in that natural frog silly position. That's why that thing gets worked. It also helps walk a little bit. I noticed it's easier to walk with one leg a little bit longer than the other. But then again, this is a Dean Rojas. Yeah, Spro. This is a Dean Rojas. It's not a poppin' frog or nothing like that. ½ ounce, white, straight white, ghost white. But yeah, this thing's been crushed. Many a years of frogging. But again, I got to come in with a heavy stick. I already had a heavy stick assignment on the boat today. That was the Gandrel. So here we are again. You know, back in that, what do we do? What do we do? You know, do we change up? Do we retie something? I don't really want to change up or retie anything, to be honest with you. I kind of like the position we were in today. I think we did a really good job. I think we spent a lot of valuable time wasting time only to make the right decision, make the big move, and had a decent couple of hours. You know, I can't really complain. If it had been a derby, we'd have been all right. For sure. If it was a little 5-hour derby or 3-hour derby, we'd have done fine. Natural funky frog position. Yeah, Brandy. That's what I mean. You'd be surprised. You start to really try to imitate things in nature, and it gets pretty fun. I guess that Ned rig's like earthworm or something. I'm not quite sure. But it's effective. It is effective, that TRD. I don't know, man. We're at that point. You know what I mean? We're getting ready to come into Paddle Tails, boys. We're trying to get a shot down South Florida here shortly. I got that whole swim bait thing from Z-Man. I got to hurry up before this season ends. We're going to have a real quick feed up again. We're going to see how that goes. Hopefully I get some shots at a couple of bigs during that time of year, because once it hits summer, boys and girls, the fish will come in on an average bigger, but you fit in a grind. You're going to grind. You're going to be staring at water temperature. You're going to be staring at depth. And I think we might have changed the game depending on where we look this summer. If I can get into some deeper water this summer and find some fish in the same AO, you know, the same area of operation with the imaging, I think we're going to have a good time. I'm just saying. That's Beard's new dance, the funky frog. Yeah, something like that. You know, it works. Oh, we've already listened to all the music, you guys. We got to find some new tunes. Well, boys and girls, for those of you that are new to the channel, Don't forget to sub. Hit the like button. You can share it if you want to. I try to keep it pretty clean. Sometimes I'm getting better. Let's just say, unless you're the Death Hornet thing that came at me today, I might slip up. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say some things, but other than that, I try. I do my best. But every Tuesday, live fishing from usually around noon. Look for me around noon and till usually around 5. And look for me on Tuesday evening, 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. And guys, thank you very much for hanging out. I appreciate each and every one of you. Me love you long time. There's all those good things that I could say about each and every one of you. But again, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't taken a look at the channel, new to the channel, if you're new to the show, check out some of the older content, guys. And remember, it's been real. It's been fun. We'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.